The war in the north has intensified sharply over the last 24 hours, with a wide-ranging Israeli air campaign designed to destroy Hezbollah's ability to fire rockets into Israeli cities and set up the conditions for the IDF to push them back away from the border. Hezbollah is reeling from this attack, and Nasrallah's empire is falling apart. The IDF is operating powerfully and in a targeted manner in Lebanon, with the goal of returning the Israeli residents to their homes and negating Hezbollah's capabilities, while Nasrallah's deputy escalates the threats, declaring that we have entered a new phase, the battle of the open reckoning. Meanwhile, the IDF force attacked Hamas terrorists who took over a school in the center of the Gaza Strip, and the individual in command of the Hamas Naval Commando Unit was eliminated in Gaza City. All of this is taking place against the backdrops of rumors that Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar might have been eliminated in an IDF strike. We have also heard from the Iranian-backed terror militias in Iraq over the past 24 hours, as they have fired 5 drones our way towards Israel, all of which were intercepted outside the Israeli airspace. Let's dive into the details. I'm Yair Pinto, and this is your Boots on the Ground report about what is happening in Israel on the 353rd day of the war against Hamas, Hezbollah, the head of the axis of evil in Iran, and all of its terror proxies in Yemen, Iraq, and Syria. Before we start, please take a minute to find the subscribe button and click on it so that together we can spread the truth as far as possible and that you will never miss another episode of Boots on the Ground. IDF spokesman Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari commented on the wave of IDF attacks in Lebanon this morning, stating that they will continue in the near future. He added a word of explanation, saying that for more than 20 years, Hezbollah has distributed IEDs inside homes and armed them, thus turning South Lebanon into a fighting space. He also showed a surveillance video of a civilian home that had been converted into a rocket launching site, endangering the residents of the village. He added a direct message to the residents of these villages that the IDF was going to destroy more of these sites that Hezbollah had built inside their homes, and he urged them to quickly evacuate these areas for their own safety. This is war in precise targeted moves, and it is the strategy of the IDF on the Lebanese border in this phase of the conflict, both in recent days and going forward. It is a direct result of the directive that the IDF has received from the political echelon to return the residents of the northern communities to their homes as part of the objectives of the war. The Home Front Command has warned residents of Israel that this will be a difficult day, and the cabinet was scheduled to meet at IDF headquarters in Tel Aviv on Monday evening at 7 p.m. This IDF offensive comes after almost a year in which the IDF has conducted a mainly defensive campaign in the north, holding Hezbollah off while the main offensive effort was in Gaza. However, many steps were taken to erode Hezbollah's capabilities and prepare the ground for a possible offensive. This included assassinating over 300 senior field commanders and operatives in targeted strikes, destroying rocket launchers and ammunition depots, and disrupting communication networks. Now, that operation has shifted into a higher gear, and Hezbollah is struggling to keep up, although they have increased the scale of reach of their rockets that they fire into Israel. The hope is that Hezbollah will quickly understand that it is in a fight that it cannot win and agree to back off, stop firing weapons into Israel, and retreat back north of the Litani River as quickly as possible. But if they can't or don't make this decision, the IDF will continue to destroy them. As Chief of Staff Major General Herzi Halevi said last night in Tel Nof, Hezbollah will receive a blow and another blow until it understands. In any case, Israel has already done very significant damage to Hezbollah's Radwan force, which was designed to invade the Galilee communities and carry out massacres as Hamas did on October 7. In recent days, many of the terror commanders of this Radwan force have been eliminated by IDF strikes, further degrading the ability of this organization, and this unit particularly, to carry out its mission. However, Hezbollah is not completely helpless, and they have also increased the intensity of their barrages of rockets into Israeli communities, causing significant damage but few casualties. Hassan Nasrallah's deputy, Naim Qassem, gave a fiery speech yesterday at the funeral of Ibrahim Akil, declaring that Hezbollah is ready to continue the struggle for a long time if necessary. Starting from the night between Saturday and Sunday, Hezbollah launched 150 rockets, drones, and cruise missiles into Israeli territory, but the vast majority of them were intercepted. Against the background of all these military moves and counter moves, the American diplomatic efforts are also affecting the course of events. The Americans support Israel's actions to erode Hezbollah's capabilities, and one senior American official explicitly said that they are not shedding any tears over the assassination of Ibrahim Akil, who was wanted by the FBI for his involvement in attacks on American citizens. However, Washington is asking Israel to act carefully so that the situation does not spiral out of control. By this, they mean that they hope that Iran does not become directly involved, which would force other regional powers to also get involved, and the results of this would be impossible for anyone to predict. But one thing is for sure: the Americans don't want to have a large regional war to manage in the weeks before the presidential elections. It is important to remember, however, that in a very real way, Iran is already involved. Iran provides Hezbollah with money, training, logistical support, and above all, ammunition. All the rockets fired into Israel by Hezbollah over the past 11 months came from Iran, including technical advanced weapons like the Falak and Burkan mid-range rockets, as well as the Fadi, which Hezbollah claims to have ruled out last night. All the rockets fired into Israel by Hezbollah over the past 11 months came from Iran, including technically advanced weapons like the Falak and the Burkan mid-range rockets, as well as the Fadi, which Hezbollah claims to have rolled out last night. It also includes armed drones and anti-tank missiles. But there are many more weapons that Hezbollah has not yet used, including strategic weapons that are hidden far north of the border, deep inside Lebanon. Hezbollah has the first line of defense in front of the border with Israel, where the simpler rockets are kept, but also short-range missiles with significant warheads that can cause heavy damage. Further away, in the wide tunnels, amongst tangled vegetations, on the outskirts of the village, and even in the capital city of Beirut, under the buildings, other strategic weapons are kept. In Beirut, a large part of the precision missiles are located near soccer fields and underground complexes, such as parking lots, that have been converted for this purpose. Israel has done significant damage to Hezbollah's production chain, forcing them to move out in the open, above ground. These shipments can be seen, and the IDF has been attacking them regularly ever since the beginning of the war. And this will continue, according to the Israeli Chief of Staff, General Herzi Halevi. Here at TBN Israel, we will continue to update you on developments moving forward, but you can stay up to date in real time about what is happening in Israel with our articles and updates, which we post in real time on our website, tbnisrael.com/news. Look for us on TBN Israel social media networks to receive regular, real-time updates on the truth, and please subscribe to this YouTube channel. The IDF's extensive attack in Lebanon comes about 24 hours after Hezbollah's latest barrage of rockets and UAVs, which struck deep into Israel. The selection of targets was focused on launchers and weapons depots, some of which were located inside villages and other populated areas. According to reports in Lebanon, the IDF attacked, among other things, deep in northern Lebanon and west of Baalbek. The El Mayadin network, which is affiliated with Hezbollah, reported IDF attacks in 9 areas in the north of El Baka. According to another report, attacks were also carried out in targets in the area of Tzur and Nabatia in southern Lebanon. Guys, please continue to spread the truth. Share this video on YouTube, subscribe to this YouTube channel, and follow us on social media. Now, before we continue with today's report, I would like to tell you about our sponsor for today's video. In this time of war, it is very important that we remember that our communities in the north and in the south are suffering not only from the bombardment and attacks themselves, but also from economic displacement. There is no tourism and very little agricultural activity possible, and these are the main engines of the economy in these areas. So Israel needs help, and a lot of you have been asking in the comments, what can we do to practically support Israel? When one way to help Israel and the Israeli families is through our sponsor today, Artza. You see, each Artza box delivers to your doorstep is filled with flavors, scents, and craftsmanship made here in the Holy Land. This is how you can contribute to our effort and to Israel. Go now to www.artzabox.com and receive fresh, original, handcrafted products. And not only that, you can now use our exclusive 10% discount on your Artza box subscription by entering the code TBNIL. Remember, it's a souvenir from the Holy Land, and it's a blessing for Israel, for the people of Israel, and for this land. So thank you. And now back to the news. Switching our focus to the Gaza Strip, Air Force helicopter gunships attacked Hamas terrorists who were operating in a command and control complex in the area that was formerly used as the school called Khaled bin al-Walid in the center of the Gaza Strip. This was done in a targeted manner and under the intelligence guidance of the Israeli Air Force. The command and control complex was used by Hamas terrorists to plan and carry out terrorist operations against IDF forces and the State of Israel, and the IDF stated that prior to the attack, many steps were taken to reduce the chance of harming civilians, including the use of precision weaponry, aerial contracts, and additional intelligence information. Meanwhile, rumors have begun to circulate that Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar is no longer amongst the living. These rumors are currently being investigated by the Israeli intelligence officials, and a hypothesis has been put forward by a number of experts who deal with the Palestinian arena. As of now, there is no conclusion and no proof one way or another, and the Shin Bet is quite certain that Sinwar is still alive. In any case, here at TBN Israel, we will continue to report on any development in this sector. So continue to spread the truth, share our videos on YouTube, and follow us on social media. Take a minute to click the subscribe button so that more people will know what is happening in Israel. And if you want to receive more videos like this one, please consider making a financial donation by going to our website at www.tbnisrael.com/give or click the donate button on YouTube. Now back to the news and the situation in the Gaza Strip. A report is coming out of the southern city of Rafah. The ground maneuver in Rafah came after more than 9 months in which the IDF fought in Gaza, and after a long wait in which the political echelon debated what steps to take there. The long period of time allowed Hamas to prepare their defenses and make plans to try and defeat the IDF. When the forces of the 162nd Division entered Rafah, they had to overcome the challenge posed to them by the terrorists of the Rafah Brigade, which was one of the most well-armed, trained, and capable units of the Hamas military machine. They recognized that Hamas had adopted the tactic of embedding themselves in civilian neighborhoods so that when the IDF hit them, these neighborhoods would be destroyed, and this could be used against Israel in the media. It was also done because urban combat is the most difficult kind of warfare, and an attacking force usually suffers heavy casualties when fighting in close areas. Hamas set explosive charges in buildings, on walls and fences, charges on traffic routes, and also built passages between buildings while creating passage windows between the walls. The terrorists dismantled hundreds of reverse cameras from vehicles and placed them in the traffic routes where they estimated that the IDF forces would move. The cameras were connected with tiny cables to operations rooms where the battle could be monitored and managed. Hamas's plan was that as soon as the force was detected by the camera, an ambush could be activated, including explosive charges, sniper fire, anti-tank fire, and more. However, all these carefully laid plans were thwarted by the IDF approaching Rafah in an encircling movement, instead of coming at the Hamas defenses head-on as they expected we will do. However, Hamas was able to use the defenses it had set up to great effect, causing many casualties but not stopping the IDF from accomplishing its strategic objectives. However, the IDF has continued to encounter these tactics, especially the use of cameras to set up ambushes in other areas, including in Judea and Samaria. This speaks to the level of sophistication that Israel's enemies have managed to acquire and the need for Israel to continue to innovate and develop new strategies to defend our country. Here at TBN Israel, we will continue to update you on the developments and information concerning the fighting. But please continue to spread the truth, share and follow us, and most importantly, pray for the peace of the IDF soldiers who are risking their lives every day in these battles on the north, in the Gaza Strip, and in Judea and Samaria. Pray for the hostages to be reunited with their loved ones back in Israel. Pray for all the civilians that are affected by this war, and please unite in prayer for the peace of Jerusalem, this city here behind me, because God is in control and He will win this war.
Hello, this is Mati here in Jerusalem with TBN Israel.
This is Yair Pinto from TBN Israel here in Jerusalem. TBN Israel is keeping viewers informed with Israel-focused news, culture, and what God is doing in this land.
Support TBN Israel today online at tbn.org/Israel. Thank you.